Hello, this is Hilton Dyer, Following the Sun, and today I'm going to be doing some solar cooking. I've got a GoSun Sport solar cooker, and I'm going to be cooking some potatoes and onions using just the power of the sun. Forgive the really amazing shades I'm wearing, but it is bright out here. The sun is doing its job. It's middle of December, it's about 32 degrees, snow on the ground, and we're going to cook some potatoes and onions out here in the great wide open. So here is the stove itself. It's a reflector and an evacuated glass tube. Now what do I mean evacuated glass tube? That's like a see-through thermos bottle. It's got two layers of glass with a vacuum in between so that light can go in, but heat has a hard time getting back out. They're used for solar collectors for hot water generally, but a very smart guy named Patrick Sherwin out in Ohio repurposed this kind of technology for cooking food. Now, if you look right there, there's the tray, the cooking tray. It's long, it's thin, it fits down the tube. Some people say, well, that's a weird shape for cooking, but as Patrick says, well, it's got to be that small to get into your mouth anyways. So what I'm going to do is put the potatoes and onions and a little bit of garlic, olive oil, basil, salt, pepper. I'll spare you the cooking show bit because you think you know how to do that. And we'll get going. So what I'm doing here is putting the tray into the cooker. You notice it's facing in the wrong direction, away from the sun. That's so we don't get thermal shock by overheating the glass tube and then putting something cold in it. So you can see it's got a little rubber seal there and a little vent for steam to come out. And as soon as we turn it around, this thing is going to start to cook. And there we go. The sun's pretty low on the horizon, maybe 20-25 degrees up off the horizon, so the sun cooker angle is low. Now what's going on there is actually a positive application of the greenhouse effect. Just as light comes into our atmosphere and gets absorbed by the ground and comes back out as heat and is then kept in our atmosphere somewhat by the resistance to transmission of heat by the air. So too, the sunlight's going into this tube and hitting the contents, being re-radiated as heat, and then the heat has a harder time getting back out through that vacuum gap than the light had getting in. And we should reach temperatures of upwards of maybe 400 degrees Fahrenheit in there. I'm going to check it later with a digital thermometer. So it's been about a half an hour here, and a little over 35 minutes, and you can see there is steam coming out the end of the cooker there. This stuff is definitely cooking. My digital thermometer has a dead battery, so we're going to use this digital thermometer to see how hot it is, and this doneness tester to see whether it's actually good to eat. Oh, look at that. That is cooked down quite well. Ooh, that's warm. We'll just... Ooh, that looks done. Oh my God. That is good. That is really well cooked. About a half an hour in the sun. So, I'd call this a rousing success. We've got cooked potatoes in freezing weather out in the snowfield. There's the stuff. So I have eaten and enjoyed my solar roasted potatoes and onions, and the sun has gone behind some clouds here. So, anyways, packing up, and here we have the what is called the GoSun Pro Pack is what I have. You note the cooker itself folds up into a sort of a little suitcase sort of shape, and in the Pro Pack, version. You get this bag with 2 trays to cook in, plus in an outer pocket here I have a couple of little cleaners, and that goes on the end of the tray, and you can shove it in and back out of the tube and clean the inside of the tube with it, which seems like a convenient thing. Plus I have some little silicone rubber baking dishes, so theoretically I can make some little rectangular solar muffins if I'm so inclined. So that's the kit there, and this drops in. I can take it away. So minus the shades now. I would consider this solar cooking experiment a rousing success. It really thoroughly cooked those potatoes in a half an hour of not completely blue sky sunlight. It was blue sky part of the time there's some high overcast, and the temperature certainly was not tropical out here. I'm going to try it again in lower temperatures. I'm going to try it with some different foods, but I'm pretty confident that the GoSun stove is a good thing. Anyways, gets the 2 thumbs up from following the sun. This is Hilton Dyer, following the sun, and I'll see you next time. So here we are with an added test, Potatoes and Onions 2, the sequel, only this time in temperatures of about, I don't know, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So a good 25 degrees cooler out than the previous test. And I'm just going to see what kind of cooking times I get for the same result on this one. But nice bright sun, pretty clear sky, so hoping for good results. And here's a check-in at about 20 minutes, 5 degrees out still, decent sun, little bit of high haze. And we look in here and we've got steam coming off of that, and certainly feels hot. We'll put that back in for another 10 minutes, see how it does. So half an hour has passed, and I'm going to use the qualitative tester to see how we're doing here. It's got some steam coming off, that looks good. Feels a little bit, still a little bit crunchy at half an hour. So I'm going to put that back in, let that go another 20 minutes or so. I noticed I was getting a little bit of shading in the other location, so I've changed over to a spot with a little clearer solar exposure just to see how that would go. Seems like it's already cooking a little bit harder. Anyways, back in a few. So it's 20 minutes later. Sun has actually gone behind the clouds a bit, but you can see we got that wonderful steam coming out the end of the tube here. So we're going to use the doneness tester, see how we're doing here. Ow, yeah, that is hot. It's seriously hot, and the potatoes are seriously done. So yeah, even with slightly less than ideal sun in slightly less than ideal temperatures, we got some good response out of the GoSun cooker. So that's your extra bonus low temperature round from following the sun. Check you next time.